This morning, I had some thoughts about meditation teachers, the essence of the sacred practice of awakening, stillness, and presence. So what came to mind is a prominent meditation teacher, a Zen master basically, which is mostly what I'm trained in. And this was some time ago. This person's still alive. So a prominent, kind of semi-famous teacher, a lot of students, long proper lineage, and I'm sitting down in front of them to meet for a Dharma meeting, right? A meeting of the minds, a meeting of the practice, a meeting of awakening. And what I notice as I face this person is, well, first let me say what I was hoping for. I was hoping to meet in a deep, intimate stillness, a curiosity of unfoldment of the present moment, and explore the heart of what happens in that moment in intimate space, right? With the purpose of refining and nurturing that encounter. This is a long tradition in Zen. And yet, what I met in that person was, the best I could describe it is like this huge, complicated machine, right? Like this clock with parts ticking and whirring and checking me out, and like I could feel the energy and being of this person, like trying to get an angle or see what they could get or how they would fit me into their organization, or wow, it's not what I expected. I thought, oh, Zen master, and because I have trained with Zen masters who embody this 100%, this wasn't that. So let's talk a little bit about context, because let's be fair here. Most of the places that I've encountered this deepest direct transmission of stillness and presence has been in retreats, deep retreats sometimes, with the Zen teachers I've truly respected. And in this moment, there was no retreat. I was visiting this abbot at their temple, and they have the regular retreat schedule, but this wasn't a deep retreat. Their consciousness was engaged probably mostly in the day-to-day, and that's what I met. But it made me think about, when we hold a sacred tradition, how do we manage to drop into a deeper place if somebody's coming to us to meet in that deeper place? And it's tough. There's a Zen story about an awakened student coming to challenge the Zen master, and they have some interaction, and I don't remember the names, but the student essentially says, is that the best you can do? And the abbot is quite honest. The abbot says, in this ancient Zen story, I'm just the abbot of, this big monastery, and my mind's, I've got a lot of things to take care of. So what's the point of this talk? The point is, there's a sacred transmission of presence, and it's sacred because it's so rare that we get the opportunity to drop in really deeply into this space with another human being or a group of human beings, right, on retreat. And yet it's in those deepest places of ourselves that healing, transformation, wisdom, and insight can happen. That's why it's sacred, right? So the other part of this is words and language, right? How do we use words and language to access this sacred place? So the sacred place itself is completely beyond words. It's immediate presence. It's responsive intelligence, complete body, mind, emotion, being, right? And yet, as soon as we include thinking, all of our habits and patterns of cognition and mental ways of being, all of our childhood traumas and patterns. If an enlightened person was not allowed to express anger when they were little, they're not going to be able, they're going to struggle to express it now. And vice versa. Someone who grew up in an angry household will be angry. One of my Zen teachers was a very angry personality. So here's the thing. A meditation is by no means anywhere nearly enough, right? If you want an integrated being that can respond competently and understand and have wisdom in various contexts, you have to understand fully and do training on what it is to be a human being and relationships and communication and connection and understand that. That's hard. That's a lot of work. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. So coming back to the most sacred, how do words create a vehicle for us to access this deepest place in a way that we don't become confused, that we don't say, oh no ego bad, no thinking, no, don't think, where we allow. There's an allowing, and yet in that allowing, as soon as we allow ego, as soon as we allow thinking, we're going to fall into all kinds of confused places. Yes, we work through that, right? That's part of an integrated process of awakening over time. You may have an awakening, now you have to integrate everything that exists into that. That's lifetimes of work. So what kind of words point to a practice of meditation which is leading to a realization that we're all connected to everything that exists? Right? So the Buddhists talk about awakening as maybe the only way to get off the wheel of karma. Why? Because karma is you do something to someone else, or they do something to you. And what is awakening? In its deepest sense, I would say awakening is the process in which an individual consciousness has a realized experience that it's no longer separate. So when you have the direct realization that everything is you, and you can't find anything in everything, you can point to a car and it is you. You point to yourself, it is you. Your own emotions, they are you. In this unified experience, if you're the lion eating the deer and the deer being eaten by the lion, and you're both of those things, where's karma? You're already everything. And in that everything, there's a spontaneous compassion and kindness that arises. It's like one whole body. If some part of your body is harmed, that harms you. From that place, there's no harming sentient beings unless it's a part of your body. Everything is complete. You do everything to take care of everything. Right? Sometimes you might have to hurt some part of your body to make it whole. If you have to do that, you do that. But it's not done from a place of separation. So coming back to this point of words and sacred space, and this teacher who sat in front of me with all of these things going on, and I didn't really say anything about it. I just went along with it, and I met them where they were, and I think I'm okay with that. But how do we talk about it in the present moment? What if I were to speak to this? How do we speak to the present moment of what we see and feel happening in consciousness with another person, and co-create an intention for a more sacred practice together of going deeper, and see who wants to do that and how we're going to do that? To me, that's a Dharma practice. So my wish is to support evolving Dharma practices and supporting those who are already doing that all over the world to drop more deeply into these sacred places. But we desperately need a better ways of communicating this in languaging and words, and also in the realized experience. The realized experience being what I'm talking about. There was the Zen master that I was sitting in front of, and it might as well have been like an ultra advanced computer, because I wasn't getting the sacred connection that I was there for. And I didn't know quite how to ask for it at that point. And so we couldn't drop deeper. How do we invite each other to drop deeper? So even that is not possible unless you take on a practice of meditation. To drop deeper in the moment, in stillness or in relationship with another person, it's almost impossible unless you have equanimity and stillness that you've cultivated over many meditation sessions. So I hope you enjoyed this talk and continue meditating.